welcome to the Proud to Be a Chef program. We're here to launch the 2023 program, and we're super excited to be back here after 2 years of what can only be described as quite challenging for the hospitality industry. My name's Kim Gill. I'm the Channel Marketing Manager here at Anchor Food Professionals, and I'm super excited to share with you a little bit about the Proud to Be a Chef program, and hopefully at the end of the next 30 minutes we've given you some inspiration and a desire to be part of this program. It's our ambition that every apprentice chef out there wants to be part of this program as part of their culinary journey. So here at Proud to Be a Chef, why do we exist? We are all about the hospitality industry, and we're all about supporting the culinary leaders of tomorrow. So what can you expect at Proud to Be a Chef program? Well, we're going to invite 32 apprentice chefs from all over Australia to come to Melbourne to join us for a 4-day, all expenses paid, immersive journey through which you'll have some masterclasses that you'll experience. You'll get a visit to a farm, possibly a chance to milk a cow, which, you know, I'm sure many of you have never had the opportunity to do before. And you'll also be spending a lot of time with our 3 very inspirational mentors, which I'm going to introduce to you shortly. But first, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about what would happen at the end of the program. So after your 4 days, you've had some master classes. Hopefully, you've learned a few new skills. You've met 31 other new culinary friends that we hope you can have through the rest of your journey. And as you become hopefully what might be a culinary leaders of tomorrow, and one day maybe even Proud to Be a Chef mentor yourself. So at the end of the program, we will have a gala evening at which we're going to award one of you a $7,500 scholarship, which we want to support you to explore what might be the next step in your career, and also maybe some travel and further education. In addition to that, with thanks to our fantastic mentors, we hope to offer 2 more participants the opportunity to do a 3-day internship at their establishments. So rather than me stand here and kind of talk to you a little bit more about this program, I'm just going to share a short video with you, and then when we come back I'm going to introduce you to our mentors. Thank you. So hopefully that video just gave you a little bit more inspiration on why you might want to be part of our Proud to Be a Chef program for 2023. Joining me now here is our resident mentor, Mark Normoyle. Welcome, Mark. I'm just going to hand over to you to share a little bit about your journey and introduce us to our other 2 mentors.
Thanks Kim. Mate. G'day guys, great to be here with you today to launch Proud to Be Chef 2023. So a little bit about myself. I am the Executive Chef for Anchor Food Professionals. I've been in this amazing industry of ours for over 30 years now. So I started as a young 15-year-old chef, worked many places around Australia. I've been lucky enough to travel the world to host food tours to places like India, Sri Lanka, Japan. I'm currently ambassador for a couple of regions of Japan. So one is the Gifu Prefecture of Japan. So I'm an ambassador for their Wagyu beef, which is an exciting role. Also an ambassador for Kochi Yuzu, which is one of Japan's leading regions for growing yuzu. So I consult the hospitality industry, I love my job and I love mentoring young chefs. That's why I'm here with you today. And one of my other roles I have is actually have my own restaurant here in St Kilda in Melbourne called Luna's Food and Wine Bar. So keeps me busy. What I'd like to do now, guys, I'm going to run through the program a little bit with you, and I'm going to introduce you to our other mentor chefs. So come over, guys. So I'd like to introduce you to these guys are the leading chefs in Melbourne. So I've got Kayleen Tan here and I've got Dan Giraldo here. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the guys and what they're going to do for us today. So I'm going to start with Kayleen. So Kayleen is the head chef at Tonka here in Melbourne, and she's also executive pastry chef for Coda and Tonka. So really diverse role. So welcome, Kayleen.
Hey, it's good to be here.
So what the guys, that's great, isn't it? So basically what the guys are going to do today is they're going to start, show us a couple of little dishes, guys, give you a little bit of inspiration and also to show you a little bit of the style of food they do at their restaurant. So Kayleen, I want to start with talking about your career. So what a diverse role you have. So you're a pastry chef, but you're also a head chef of a savoury kitchen. How did that come? And I know you were raised in Singapore and now you're in Melbourne. So tell us a little bit about your history and your story.
I actually am a career changer. I changed careers when I was 25. I actually started doing documentary production. I was doing it for 5 years, and I went through what I call my self-diagnosed quarter-life crisis. Didn't know what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I've always loved food. I grew up in a very big foodie family. Singapore is well known for like diverse, so much great food.
Yep.
So I really wanted, I'm a strong believer of like, if you work a job that you love, you never work a day in your life. So I really wanted to kind of embrace that, and I found myself, enrolling in a culinary school in Singapore called at Sunrise. I did a course, and then I found myself working with one of the world's best chefs, Jean Robuchon, who opened up his flagship restaurant in Singapore. And I really wanted to make sure that moving through my career that the foundations of, especially with pastry, because it's so very technical, I wanted those to be incredibly strong to make sure that the foundations of my career were very stable before I, moved and all that kind of stuff. So I was with him for 2 years. I managed to work with a really great pastry chef called Andreas Lara at Jason Atherton's Poland. And then after that, I found myself in Australia. And I guess you could say the rest is history.
Wow.
That was a very condensed version.
Yes, and then you've come to the dark side and you've got the savoury thing as well. What made you want to get into the savoury side? Because normally some chefs will go the other way. They'll start as a savoury and say, no, I want to do pastry now. So how did that happen?
I guess it's partially being part of a company for such a long period of time. And I'm meticulous. I've got a bit of OCD. I really love being organized.
We all do as a chef.
Yeah, I know, a little bit. And I just love getting things organized. So it's always been part of my role at Tonka to kind of organize all the paperwork and the rostering and all that kind of stuff and managing the team in a sense. So when the opportunity came about, I saw it as a challenge, because for me, being a chef is, having that continuous learning journey where you're constantly pushing yourself to do things that you're really uncomfortable with. And being a head chef for me of a savory restaurant, such a great honor. And also, I actually gave myself that challenge to take on something that I was completely unfamiliar with, especially after being a pastry chef for like 15 years.
And one of the leading restaurants in Melbourne as well. We're really well known, like high quality, high calibre, great team. So good on you. So the guys are going to share a dish today. So what are you going to do for us today, Kayleen?
So we have a great rice pudding dish on the menu at Tonka right now, and I'm going to be making for you what is called a kueh loyang. Or kueh rose, or in India it's actually called a murukku. So I think the cool thing about desserts and food in general is that you can sometimes find very similar concepts around the world in different cultures that have kind of been brought about by trading and stuff like that, as back in the day through the spice route and all that kind of stuff. So this is actually one of my favorite little cookies to eat during Chinese New Year when I was growing up. So I've integrated it as part of one of the desserts at Tonka.
Oh, it's fantastic. So just quickly explain some of the ingredients you've got here, and then after you've done it, I'm going to get you to start this dish and I'm going to go and have a chat to Dan.
Yeah, easy. So in this bowl, I've got all the dry ingredients. You've got a bit of rice flour, normal flour, sugar, and a little bit of salt, because personally, I find that with desserts, just that little bit of salt makes all the difference.
Great.
I've got eggs and egg yolk, and here I've got some coconut cream. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to whisk that all together, and then over here we've got the other things that we need for the dessert, which is the rice pudding. It's a coconut-based rice pudding with a bit of orange zest, brown sugar grilled pineapple, and a couple of fennel fronds just to make it look a bit fancy.
Looks exciting. So thanks for that, Chef. So I'm going to let you start, do your prep and get your dish underway, and I'm going to have a chat to Dan.
Easy.
Welcome, Dan. Good to have you here, buddy. So this is Dan. So Dan is the group head chef for the Maha Group. So Maha is an iconic restaurant here in Melbourne. And Dan, I've known Dan for quite a few years now, and I've actually watched him sort of grow as a leader, as a head chef, and he's a great guy. I'm always happy to work with Dan. So Dan, tell us a little bit about yourself and you know, your career and where you come from.
Yeah, well, thank you, Mark. Thank you for those lovely words. So I'm originally born in Colombia, but I grew up actually in the US. My whole life I've been moving around quite a bit, and that kind of gave me a really wide range of palette to work with. I lived in the Caribbean before coming to Australia, and I got here 11 years ago.
You've been around, haven't you?
Yeah, so I actually started my apprenticeship in the Dominican Republic under my father, which really opened my eyes to what you could become as a chef.
And what sort of food was that in the Dominican?
On the Dominican, you have a little bit of influence of the Caribbean, but surprisingly, whenever you live back home, you're trying to do everything from afar.
Yeah,
so
true.
lots of European, French-based techniques,
Yep.
with a little bit of American influence. My father became a chef in the US, so it's kind of that traditional filet mignon, old school veggies, rice. You know?
Yeah, right.
So I was back in 2005 when I first started.
Yep.
So it's been a while now. Then I got to Australia 11 years ago. I worked at a hotel first, which kind of gave me a lot of foundations on how to structure. Hotels have a different form to restaurants. You have a lot of structure, rostering, costing, which gave me an insight really young into the business side of hospitality, which was really great. Then from there, I moved on to a restaurant called The Point at Albert Park.
Yeah, iconic restaurant. Yep.
Yeah, where I worked with some really great chefs. It was a small team. It was about 8 of us, but everyone really wanted to push and be the best they could. And that one brought me a lot of resilience, and it taught me how far you could actually push. Back in the day, it was very different to now. Working really long hours, but we loved it, and it really that cemented how much I wanted to be a good chef. And I learned lots from there. And then 9 years ago, I met Shane, and ended up at Maha, where I started as a sous chef, and within 6 months, I got offered the head chef role. And over the years, it's been a great transition to see from us, our restaurant, where we are to where we are now, but also the industry, seeing how much change there has been, how much growth there has been, from me personal. From cooking side to leader, to the industry to where it sits now, especially after the last 2 years of these challenging times. So it's been really great to see that change. And I believe that the industry is just moving forward. Chefs they have a life that's a bit more balanced. Mental health is really important in the restaurants as well. So I think we have a great future ahead.
Fantastic. So Dan's going to play a little dish up here. Can you basically run through what we've got here, Dan?
So here we have, it's pretty much now an iconic dish at Maha. So when I first started 8-9 years ago, we were developing this dish, which is actually a fish that's cured in chemin. Traditionally, it's made with basturma, which is a red meat. It's covered in spices, some fenugreek, cumin, coriander. It's got this beautiful aroma, and we're like, why don't we do it with fish? So it took me actually like 10 different fishes to get it right. And the end result we have is to use Spencer Gulf Kingfish. I think it's one of the most beautiful fish in Australia. It's fatty, and you can use it steamed, cooked, raw, a very versatile fish, and it absorbs lots of the flavor. So we just cured it for approximately 12 hours.
Great fish for curing.
Yeah. So we have 12 hours, and you have all that. Like, the fenugreek's really beautiful, paprika, and it just comes out with this red stain, as you can see on the outside. So we've just thinly sliced it, and we're going to match it with some beautiful spices. That's what pretty much makes unique at Maha, is the spices that we use and how we use them. We're not traditional in any form Middle Eastern, but it's an unrestricted version. From pork to traditional techniques, French-style techniques with sauces, into the use of spices. So here we got some beautiful Syrian pepper, which is really lovely.
It's got a great
Yeah, so it's got smoky, it's got a lot of depth. What we've done with this one, we've made a combo oil, preserved lemon, shallots, and then the Syrian pepper, and we steeped it for at least 2 weeks. So we make this dressing in really big batches, and it gets really, really intense. But it goes really well with fish, it goes well with chicken. And when we put this on the menu 8 years ago, everyone loved it. It just kind of went like something that was really different.
Nice.
And it kind of identified what our cuisine is like.
Beautiful.
So we're gonna have all these little beautiful slices. And you can see that the red around it. And we're just gonna match it like I love Kewpie. It's something simple and creamy that has such umami flavor, which with this dish, it just brings out the fattiness of the fish. And we're just gonna do some little dots.
I like the fact that it's a dish which you developed 8 years ago and it's still relevant, and it's something which is great to know that a great recipe is always a great recipe, guys. You don't have to keep changing everything all the time.
And what I found is when I was younger, because it's a different interpretation, and you always try to add more when you're young. You want to do 6 techniques, 8 techniques, more plate ups. And as you mature, you start growing that sometimes simplicity is actually more complex. because if you only have three things on the plates, they all have to be perfect. If you mess one up, then it's 30% of your dish is wrong.
True.
So over the years, we ended up simplifying it a bit more. And this dressing, like it sounds so simple, but it's actually quite complex in flavor.
I'm just going to pop over to Kayleen here. I can see something frying over here, Dan. So
Yeah,
you keep
definitely.
cleaning up. So what are we doing there, Kayleen? You're frying
so
your
what
little...
I'm doing is that I heated up this mold in the fryer for a little bit. So I dipped it in the batter. You're meant to just bounce it up and down a little bit. And the cracker, because of the heating and the cooling, it's just meant to come out.
Oh, wow, look at
of
that.
the-
That's amazing. So, Kayleen, when I gave you a call and said, come and be a mentor for the Proud to be a Chef program, why do you say yes?
I think throughout my career, I've been blessed with a lot of amazing mentors who have really guided me along my culinary journey, and especially now being a chef for more than 15 years, I think. I think it's time for me to give back and try to, coach the next generation of young chefs to, be the culinary leaders of our industry in the future. And I really believe in playing it forward and trying to give back that, the great kindness that's been shown to me throughout my career.
Yeah. And I think that's a great point. I mean, to have mentors, and actually to be mentors, is an amazing thing, guys. We all need them through our career. And it's great to be able to share your knowledge with young apprentices. So that's what the guys basically, wanted to be a mentor and be a part of this program. And it's great fun as well, guys. So applications are open now. They're actually open until the 31st of October, guys. So that's a really good one for you just to keep in the back of your mind. So you're frying away there. I'm just going to jump back to Dan for a sec.
Yeah.
So look at that amazing dish Dan's got plated up there. So simple, beautiful flavour, nice texture.
Yeah. So I think it's just a nice little dish, and I think it really portrays what the cuisine that we do now. Big bold flavors. It's all about the flavor. There is some technique, but you're not just bragging about it. I think it just really shows some beautiful food, and that's
So
what we try to
you've
look for.
basically done a beautiful dish here, and I mean, like you mentioned some of the amazing ingredients that you like to use. I've got a question for you. A lot of people ask me, Mark, what's your favourite ingredient? But I'm going to ask you, what's your least favourite ingredient to either cook with, use, or something you just don't like, Dan?
Well, that's a tricky one. But actually, this one comes from when I was young. I've never liked papaya, and luckily in my cuisine, we don't use it. But yeah, for some reason, I find that I love all fruits, but it's just for some reason papaya. I find that it has a very small window to be the perfect flavor between ripeness and grain, and I just never liked it. I don't like the smell of it, and I don't like cooking with it at all. So that's probably my one ingredient that you'll never see in my kitchen.
Look, I know that at Maha, you guys have some amazing training programs and mentoring style programs as well. So why did you agree when I called you, Dan, to be a mentor for this program?
Okay, to be honest, the main reason is that probably the last 2 years, especially since the pandemic, I think once you start to mature as a chef, you realize how important it is to pass on the knowledge to the next generation. And not just to pass knowledge on how to chop, how to cut, how to create beautiful food, but also to mentor people in their life. I think it's important that young kids need to understand that, yes, it's fun to enjoy life and travel and that, but also how important it is to help someone grow as a person, help them find financial stability. And I think in mentorship, that's where I want to be part of. Helping these kids have a better life, wherever they're coming from. It's from regional Victoria, from Queensland. But that there's a huge life around hospitality. It can take you anywhere in the world. I've been blessed to be able to. I've traveled from Europe to America to Asia. I've cooked in Indonesia for the Australian government. You never know. You can end up anywhere. You can end up working for a prince in the Middle East, having your own restaurant here in Melbourne, and it's infinity options. And I think that if you find the right mentor, I've been very blessed to have. Shane's been a huge mentor to me. He's taught me lots of things that other just food, from business, from networking, from family. It's good to you have to be a good father, a good brother, and I think that's really important to me.
Good on you, Dan. I mean, that's amazing, guys. And I think all of us here, guys, we started as kitchen hands, as work experienced kids, just like you guys are as well, So thanks for that. Now, Kayleen, I'm going to ask you the same question about your least favourite ingredient, chef. So I've got a couple, but what's yours?
That's a very tricky
Or
one.
something you don't like. What is it?
This is going to be very controversial, though.
Yes, why is that?
Because it's considered one of the most expensive ingredients in
Okay,
our
interesting.
industry. And it also is in the same category as one of my favorite ingredients, which is a mushroom.
Yes.
I really think truffles are very overrated.
That's great. Look, we're right in the middle of truffle season now in winter, guys. It's amazing truffles. So why is that? But it's a great... I can understand why you say that, but why do you believe that?
I just don't think it has much flavor, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yep.
Like, I was very lucky. I won the Host Plus Hospitality Scholarship 3 years ago, and I got a chance to travel around Europe, and I managed to go to Italy, and we did like a cool truffle hunt through the forest with the German pointer and all that kind of stuff. It was the whole thing.
Wow.
And it ended up, the last part of the session was that we had this old nonna making us hand-rolled pasta with fresh truffle on the top.
Ooh.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
The pasta was amazing. And I think in that moment I sat there and I was like, I don't like
So
truffle.
you scraped off the truffle and
I
made the
didn't.
pasta.
I ate it. It wouldn't go to waste, but it's not, definitely not an ingredient that I would like to
Yeah.
use. Yeah.
Okay, now I've got one more question for you, Kaylin. So basically, if you could look back at yourself as a first year apprentice or your first day in a job, and you can go back and give this young person some advice that something to, what would you say to them? Would it be like, take more recipes or try harder or take yourself out of your comfort zone? What do you think you would give your advice as yourself as a young chef, which we can pass on to our apprentices?
I would say every opportunity that comes your way, just say yes.
Yep.
Because you never know where the opportunity may lead you. And sometimes you may get very weird requests and strange opportunities that come about that you're not quite sure about.
Yep.
But if it's something that I've learned now, is just to say yes, because you never know the kind of people you meet, the kind of opportunity that you will have and the experience that you'll gain
Yep.
from that particular moment. And
Yep.
I think that in itself, every opportunity that you take on, there's a learning. There's something that you need to learn from it, whether it's negative or positive.
Yep.
You come out of it learning to be a better chef, or you come out thinking to yourself, what kind of chef I don't want to be in the future.
True.
And I think either way, you've got to take everything with a glass half full kind of attitude.
Okay, good on you. Thanks for that. And my ingredients I don't like, guys. I think overrated. Kale, terrible stuff. And the other one is something which is basically probably close to Kaylin's heart, is durian. So, guys, I don't know if you tried durian.
I love durian.
King of fruits in Asia, but not for me. So, anyway, I know you. I'm sure you do.
No.
I just don't get it. So I'm sure it's amazing, but not for me. So, are you almost ready to start plating up there,
ready.
chef?
So this is the cracker at the end. As you can see, it's beautiful honeycomb, which I think is really cool.
That looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah, the awesome thing is that I actually, when I was doing my stage with Chef Dominique Crenn at Atelier Crenn, I actually saw them do a very similar technique, but the reverse. So she was using, her pastry chef one was using liquid nitrogen.
Yep.
And what they did is that they dipped the mold into liquid nitrogen.
Wow.
And then into chocolate.
Yep.
And then basically the reverse of what I was doing, which was
Interesting.
really cool, because I went there and I was like, hey, I know that looks familiar. So it's just kind of nice when you see techniques that you're familiar with all over the world, really. So basically at the restaurant, it's just a bit of the rice pudding at the bottom. You've got this beautiful grilled brown sugar pineapple.
That looks good. And it smells great too, the pineapple.
Oh, thank you. And it's kind of nice as well. Like in the restaurant, we serve this warm with a bit of ice cream as well, but
Yep.
no ice cream today. And then we've got the rose on the top just for a little bit of texture. And I love using fresh herbs. It's garnished, so I've got a bit of fennel frond over here.
Look at that. That's
Just a bit
amazing,
audacious.
chef.
Thank you.
So I've got a question for Dan now. So Dan, Karen's got an amazing dish here, and it looks so simple and looks so flavourful, but I'm sure a lot of thought's gone into that. So what's some key tips you can give a young chef when they're developing a dish for the first time?
I think it's really important to have a concept for your dish initially, whether it's a style dish that you want to do or mainly the ingredient. So the way I always start with is when I'm changing the menu, obviously we have a structure on the menu, but it's like, what do I want to use? Like in this case, the hero of this dish is the kingfish.
Yep.
And then all the other components, I feel like they need to enhance that instead of taking away from it. I feel like lots of chefs sometimes, they're trying too much to just put on the plate for putting on the plate.
Yep.
And it's taking away from the hero.
Yep.
So in this case, the creaminess of the mayo enhances the texture of the fish. The dressing, the smokiness brings out from all the fatty elements of the fish, and it keeps adding to the fish. So that's my way of thinking with the dish. And especially garnishes, as Kaylin just said, adding fresh herbs. It's really important, but they have to have a piece in the dish,
Definitely.
not just little viola flowers that they put on top of hotcakes that everyone just pushes to the side and end up in the bin.
Well, half of them blow out the doors and-
Yeah, 100%. Or then just for Instagram, but then no one eats them and they cost you $2. So that's my theory on that.
All right, guys. Look, well, thank you for sharing dishes, guys. We're really looking forward to having you as mentors of the program. I'm just going to invite Kim back now to have a bit more chat about the application process for Proud to be a Chef. And my advice to any young chef out there, if you're thinking about joining, just do it. So applications are open now. You can actually jump on, register, and at any time you can come back to work on your application. So you don't have to complete it all at once, so you can basically start it, take a break, come back a week later, do a bit more work on it and come back. So thanks, Kim.
Thanks very much, Mark. Well, I hope you've been inspired this morning as I have with Kayleen and Daniel. At Proud to be a Chef, our aim and ambition is to help to keep apprentice chefs engaged and to feel supported through their culinary journey and your career choice, because after all, this is a career. And I hope you've been inspired by what you've heard a little bit about today on the journeys of our mentors for this year. I hope you're excited to start your application. Applications are open, as Mark said today, from today through to the 31st of October. They are open to Australian citizens and residents, and you must be enrolled in an accredited RTO or culinary program. I'm just going to share with you now a short video which is going to take you through the actual application process.
To enter Proud to be a Chef, head over to the website, click on Start an Application and register to create an account. Now you can begin. Start by filling out your personal details. At any time, you can click Save and return to your application later by logging into your account. Next, fill out your course information and then answer the questions about your achievements, motivations and future aspirations. Now comes the fun part. Upload your original recipe. Make sure you tick the boxes to ensure your recipe meets all requirements. Include at least one Anchor Food Professionals ingredient, serves 2 people, ensure prep time is no longer than 30 minutes, and cook time is no longer than 2 hours, use ingredients that are available in February, and finally, ensure the recipe can be made with shared access to specialist equipment. Once your recipe is uploaded and you're happy with your application, take a deep breath and click Submit.
So hopefully that's given you a little bit more information on how you can enter the Proud to be a Chef program. Super excited to have you all joining us here this morning to share with you, a bit of a flavour of what can be expected through the program in 2023. We're here to help you, so please reach out. Don't wait till the last minute. You can come to us via our website or our socials, and there is a phone number that you can also give us a call as well. So we're here to help you. Any questions, by all means, reach out. Again, thank you for joining us here today. Have a great day, and we hope to speak to you soon. Thank you.